Hey everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to take a moment here and discuss a topic that has been in leftist media over the last few days that they've all been soiling their collective knickers over, they're in an uproar about. And it's the whole notion that guns that have been seized after they were used in a crime are not being destroyed. They're being resold. They're being turned over to third parties who resell them. They return them to the public. These articles are talking about how, they just take one piece off and they destroy it. And they make it sound like they take off a rear sight or, a stock or something, and they destroy it. Then they sell the gun. And some of them are very dishonest. That's dishonest to portray it like that, and we'll talk about why here in a moment. But some of them go even further, and then they try to get people to be afraid because they say often these guns are resold to the public with no background checks and no FFLs involved. That these third parties just take these guns, destroy one tiny piece, and then sell them back without going through the proper government restrictions and processes, which is garbage. That's total garbage. And I'll tell you why. But first, before I tell you why, I want to let everybody know how I feel about guns being resold that are seized and how I feel about guns that are being seized, just so you know where I'm coming from. First off, I'm okay if someone commits a violent crime with a gun, I'm okay with seizing their gun and taking it away from them. That's punishment for committing a crime. But I'm not okay with destroying it. Why would you destroy it? It wasn't the gun's fault. That gun isn't cursed. So resell that. Every few months, have a yard sale at the county. Put that money towards the school system or towards animal shelters. I was going to say homeless shelters, but I actually care more about homeless animals than I do homeless people. So put it to use. I hate when I see things destroyed that can be put to use. It's like when big channels go, I've got a lot of money and I can make a lot more money by buying this expensive item and destroying it. Well, how about you just, if you got that much money, buy that expensive item, auction it off, and donate that money to a charity. That's the way I feel about it. And that's the way I feel about the guns. And I'm only okay with guns being seized if they were used in a violent crime. And then, yes, seize them. Then that person goes to jail. When they get out, they can buy another gun if they want, but that one's gone. That's part of their punishment. That's the only time I'm really okay with guns being seized, like I said, when they use them in a violent crime. And then once they're out of prison, they can buy another gun as far as I'm concerned because they've served their debt. They've paid their debt, and they've served their time, and hopefully they've rehabilitated. So I'm fine with that. So I'm okay under certain circumstances the guns being seized. I am not okay with them being destroyed at all. I think they should be resold. So that's where I stand on it. Now, why these stories are so misleading and dishonest is that they're not telling you that the part they're destroying is the receiver, the serialized part, the part that makes it a gun. That's what they're destroying. That's the one piece they have to destroy, the serialized part. And anyone that knows anything about guns knows once that's gone, it's not a gun anymore. It's just a bag of accessories. And those things don't need FFLs. So they're not doing anything wrong. And in fact, no matter how many bags of accessories you put out into the public, that doesn't make a gun. If they take 50 guns, destroy the receivers, put all the parts in a bag and put it out on the street, they didn't put any guns on the street because you can't make a gun without the receiver. If the receiver already exists, then there's already a gun out there. They just put new parts on it. That's all that's happening. And to me, that's the least they should do is resell the parts. I hope they're putting that money towards good things, but I think they just auction them off to third parties who then just put the money into the police department, and then the third party gets to keep the profits. And, that's capitalism. That's okay with me too. So I'm all right with what they're doing. I wish they would just resell the guns, period. But the very least they can do is at least resell the parts, put it to some use, and that's what they're doing. You don't have to have a license to make a lot of these parts. They're not controlled. So they don't need an FFL. They don't need a background check. If the gun is out there, the gun is out there. No matter how many slides, how many Beretta slides you sell back to the public, if there's only one Beretta frame, well, they can only make one gun. So that's the reality of it. They're not sending any guns back out into the public. They're sending accessories, and add-ons back out into the public. It's kind of like if you have one woman and 100 men, well, you're only going to have one pregnancy at a time. What matters is how many women you have. If you have one man and 100 women, you can have 100 pregnancies at one time. And that's kind of the same thing with receivers and gun parts. Doesn't matter how many gun parts you have, it matters how many receivers you have. And since they're destroying that part, no guns are going back out into the public. I wish the guns were going back out to the public and the money being put to good use. But like I said, this is the least they could do, in my opinion. And no, they're not selling guns, and they're definitely not selling guns without license or without FFLs or without background checks like the left wants to make it appear. And if you don't think they're doing that, go on to some of the boards, the comment sections under some of the stories that have been published about this, and read what people are saying and what they think these stories mean. Oh my God, they're just turning these guns back over to criminals, probably at high prices for without any background checks. That's not happening, period. That's a fantasy that the leftist media has created. So I just wanted to come on here today and clear that up, show you how they're being irresponsible, how they're doing what I consider the least they should probably do with these gun parts, and how I wish they would just resell the whole thing. I don't like asset forfeiture, period. But if you use an item to commit a crime, then I'm usually okay with it as part of the punishment, as long as that thing goes to serve a better cause, that can justify it. And in this case, they're not even doing that, but they are at least selling the parts, and that's okay with me. Oh, one more thing before I go. I wanted to run a little commercial in this video. So if you're interested in monsters and guns like I am, you might be interested in this little commercial. If not, go ahead and end the video. But if you think that might be something you'd be interested in, keep watching.